Why did Google overspend my budget today? My budget is $1,000 a day. Oh, that's a big advertising thing,
Yeah,
but my budget
month.
is $100 and Google spent $300 today or $200 today. What is going on, Chris? I literally was working with an advertiser this week and their budget was $1,000 a day. And one day it spent 2,000, and 2,000 is a lot of money. If you're expecting to spend 1,000, that freaked them out. They changed their budget to 500 because I explained what we're about to talk about. And I think that's going to hurt their results because now they're running with a smaller budget than they actually can, and they're going to not get the results they could. So this is a very important topic. It's a very non-intuitive topic. So why did Google overspend my budget today? And daily budget versus daily spend limit. That's probably a new term to a lot of people, daily spend limit. Chris, do you get those calls from clients, those questions? Why did Google overspend my budget today? I thought my budget was 100, it spent 200. Do you ever get that in consulting or management?
Yeah, definitely. It's especially common for new advertisers when they're not used to one thing that you may not be familiar with. And that one thing is the variability between time of day, day of the week, season of the year, right? There are ups and downs, and you would not believe how much it varies. I mean, I can look at accounts that have been running for years and expand it over multiple months, and I'll just see this just up and down, just consistent, weekends, and then Christmas comes, and then, which I just saw recently here at, at the beginning of the new year, I saw things just drop in December, conversion rates. And then the first, and then especially the second week of January, boom, things shoot up. So this up and down of the market, as far as the volume goes, the impressions goes, this is why Google has to adjust for the market volume. It has to go up and down. It can't always anticipate the same number of conversions every day, or not conversions, same number of impressions every day, because those impressions go up and down. And it's really quite surprising once you watch it. People can even change the way they're searching. If you don't have the right keywords, they might start using different phrases and you start missing a lot because it starts changing over time. So big deal for sure.
Yeah. And what's changed here, I don't know when they made this change, but it was seemed to be in the last couple of years. It used to be that, if your volume was available, they would spend your budget, if the volume was available. And then if you you ran out, you would be limited by budget, and then you would hope to come back the next day. And it was very more of a simple structure. That has totally changed with artificial intelligence and the stuff they're kind of building inside their company, the tools they're building, because we'll get into this daily spend limit. And I think the inspiration for this daily spend limit was a time like Christmas, where Google knows the volume is going to be down in the second half of December for tons of industries. And again, black box algorithms and all that, we don't have access to this, but my theory is that during times like that, they will overspend your budget if you're in one of those industries early in December to make up for the lack of volume later in December. That's one example of this trend. That's one reason I think they're doing this. But there's a document out there called About Average Daily Budgets. And on that document, I'm just going to read through it for a second. Your average daily budget is the average amount that you set for each ad campaign on a per day basis. Your daily budget, that's what we call it. It specifies how much you are roughly comfortable spending each day over the course of the month. Two core terms in there, Chris: comfortable spending, or excuse me, roughly comfortable, roughly. Anytime Google's using a word like roughly or maybe or something like that, watch out, because it means something. And then comfortable spending each day. And then here's the other thing: over the course of the month. It's not each day. It's each day over the course of the month. You can set and edit your average daily budget at any time. Google will optimize your campaign spend for days of the month where you're most likely to get clicks and conversions, like when search traffic is higher or when we predict higher ROI for your ads. Maybe other advertisers with smaller budgets are really out of budget and you can get in there just by going over your budget a little bit and there's less competition so you can get a better ROI, stuff like that might be going on. They say this means that on some days you might not reach your average daily budget, but on others you might exceed it. But there's two numbers to keep in mind. Your daily spend limit is 2 times your average daily budget for most campaigns on any particular day. So if $10 is your average, meaning that's your daily budget you put in there, you can spend up to 2 times that on any given day. They will spend it. They have the right to spend up to 2 times your daily budget on any given day or the average daily budget you've had. And then your monthly spending limit is 30.4. So basically 30 times your average daily budget. Again, they say for most campaigns in any particular month. So, Chris, to summarize, they can spend up to twice your daily budget. That is your spend limit on any given day. But over the course of the month, they'll meter things back down if you keep that same daily budget, and you'll never spend more than 30.4 times your daily budget, meaning basically they'll never spend more than about 30 times your daily budget. So you can look at daily as a monthly, multiplying it out by 30. Chris, there's implications here. There's implications if you don't run a 30-day a month schedule. There's implications if you change your budget all the time. This is one reason I'm trying to get clients not to change their budget more than once a month if possible. Daily spend limit. Is that a term you hear from a lot of people in the Google Ads world? Because it's not one for me.
Yeah, no, because, well, I mean, you're not going to hear it from new people because they don't know it exists and they're not really thinking about Google doing that. And then second, they're not, people aren't going to really talk about it much because it's, it's pretty, it's not really a factor of success with a campaign. So yeah, I mean, it makes a pretty big difference there. And one thing I want to say about this is if you experience this on a much steeper scale than what we're talking about, I say it happens more often with campaigns that have let's say a trickle of impressions. Okay. So go with me here. One campaign gets 1,000 impressions a day. Okay. And they have a small budget. Okay. Another campaign gets about 20 impressions a day and it has the same small budget. The inflections of spend going up and down tends to happen more with small amounts of impressions that go through. Okay. So I find that happens because Google will, sometimes have a hard time getting the spend to happen. And then if it doesn't happen for several days, it essentially makes up for that, because it'll show your ad more to try and, because it has additional spend for that month. So, I would say that it can be extreme for some and then less for others. And it really depends with how much volume it has to work with.
That totally makes sense, because if there's tons of volume and the volume is steady and there's tons of volume compared to your budget, Google knows, hey, you can just run the whole month. And there's going to be volume there. If you have a very small volume industry, then and the volume is just not there day to day. When it is there, if Google shows your ad and goes above your daily budget and then goes up to your daily spend limit, which is 2 times your average daily budget, it's a win-win-win. Some people might be frustrated because they're like, oh, I set my daily budget at $10 and Google spent 20. But again, they're not going to overspend you for the 30-day time period. And it's a win-win-win because Google gets your ad revenue when the search happened. You actually get to get in front of someone that was searching when the search happened. And then the person doing the search gets to get exposed to your great business and hopefully gets a great product or service. So it's definitely a big thing they've done, and it really is impactful. The one thing I would say, Chris, is just, I'm worried if you're changing your budget throughout the month all the time, it's not 2 times your daily budget. It's 2 times your average daily spend, or average daily budget is the spend limit. So if that average is changing, that means that spend limit's going to change.